2, 1, and we're back. Welcome back, everybody, to the Locked Off Logic podcast. We got Jacob Ostler from the International Protection Alliance back with us today, but we're not talking about that. We're talking about something a lot different, or maybe similar, depending on how you look at the story. But Jake, first off, thanks for coming back. And we're doing this the same day, so his podcast energy is
it's good to go.
Kicking ass, yeah. You're a little more animated for this one too.
I'm excited about this one.
Well, tell me to start. Who's your favorite Lord of the Rings character and why?
Okay, and we are just talking Lord of the Rings today, right?
Fellowship of the Ring. Yep.
Okay, Fellowship of the Ring.
Which starts out War of the Ring and ends with Aragorn, Gimli, and Legolas being like, "Let's go save Merry and Pippin."
Okay. I'd preface it with, I don't have a least favorite character. I don't have any that I hate, but I've loved Gandalf since I was, like, little.
Why?
I didn't learn much about Lord of the Rings until I was a teenager, and I've loved him ever since.
Why?
So many reasons. He was fun to be in the video games.
Oh, yeah.
Like the Return of the King video game on PS2 or GameCube, playing Pelennor Fields and just spamming arrows was incredible. Yeah. I love his character. I love what he stands for. I love what he does. I love how he's written. I love how Ian McKellen portrays Gandalf. I love how Tolkien decided to portray Gandalf. I love the messages behind what he does. I also am just drawn to characters like Gandalf, I think, in a lot of what I love. I just love... my favorite Harry Potter character is Dumbledore.
So wisdom,
I like wise, old, powerful characters like Iroh. Like those are just, I just love them.
Yeah.
But I could talk about Gandalf for 4 hours, so we don't need to focus on.
No, I love his character too. I think because you after rewatching it, because we bring up this podcast because it's a story we've been wanting to share for a long time. And I just finished the Megaplex Marathon, so shout out to Larry H. Miller Megaplex for hosting that marathon. The whole day of just all of the extended versions of the movies. And Gandalf, and we're hopping around, we're not going, in order of, okay, this is how the movie started, this is how the movie ended, because the movie has been around for 25 years at this point. And so if you want to watch it, you can watch it. This will be a full of spoilers podcast. Watching Gandalf's character, I really just he's important, right? He's important by how the hobbits react when he doesn't show up to their prancing pony. You see how he is he's respected along the Fellowship, but when he died in Moria, you could really see the Fellowship kind of struggle to hold itself together after that moment, which I didn't notice until this most recent rewatch, where it's they're trying to figure out where are we gonna go, what's the next step, who's our leader, is it Boromir, is it Aragorn, are we just not a leader at all? And
Gandalf the whole time is it's Frodo.
It's Frodo, yeah.
And let the ring bearer pick. We go where you want to go.
So when he died, it just had such a big impact on their Fellowship as a whole, and
they fall apart so fast.
Yeah, and it was God, I really love his character, but he's also he's not a perfect character. He's really not that nice to Pippin. He's really not that nice. That's why it was so cool. You watch Return of the King and you see them have to spend a lot of time together, where I think they kind of start to understand each other more. Mm-hmm. But he's not that nice to Pippin. He obviously he smokes a little too much. He loves a good party. When he's
Gandalf would probably say he doesn't smoke enough.
Yeah,
That's probably what he'd say. He'd say, "I need more time to smoke."
But I love just how at home he feels in the Shire. When he shows up and everybody just celebrates him, and I think his character is just.
No one in the Shire recognizes who he is. So when they first get to the land of the elves, when they're there, you have in the books, I believe it's Sam and Frodo, who the narrative is that they see all these elf lords and these important people, and Gandalf is who they're listening to. And to him, he's an old man that does party tricks and is kind of like a crazy old wizardy boy. But he's not, one of the Astari. He's not like sent to Middle Earth from Valinor. Like he's none of those things. He's just he's our old guy friend who's kind of a nuisance, who the neighbors don't love, who is a rabble rouser, who creates contention, and he just comes in and out. But I can't imagine, like, I mean, this is all not real, so you can't say it would feel this way, but I'd imagine if you're in Gandalf's position to be able to go and become a nobody and just be able to hang out and do the occasional party trick has got to be fun.
Yeah.
Like, and just get away from everything and the importance and the decisions and the battles and the role of guiding Middle Earth, and just be like, I'm gonna go shoot off fireworks with some hobbits in the woods and get high. Like,
yeah.
Of course Gandalf's doing that.
I didn't even think about that. That's a good point. Like you bring up, like the hobbits have no concept of who this guy is. They just know that he's incredibly nice. He obviously knows Bilbo and the Baggins very intimately. Shows up the party, like they have no idea who they're speaking to. And I don't even think the hobbits, like you talk about the four core hobbits, Frodo, Sam, Merry, Pippin, even realize that throughout their journey. Like obviously I know he's important, he's powerful, but the safety and the companionship and the wisdom that he gives to them, and those intimate moments where he takes time out of being this powerful wizard to, like smoking on the hill with Bilbo. That's a great scene. Like, and it's, the scene in Moria with Frodo, like so do all who live to see such times. That's a great scene.
Yeah.
But like. I think my favorite scene in that movie when it comes to like Gandalf and his character is the Council of Elrond. When Frodo, everyone's fighting and Frodo starts to hear like the one ring to rule them all and in the dark, in the black tongue. Yeah. And Frodo's like, I will take it. And you can just see it look like Gandalf's face. We're just like, oh no. Like I knew this was a possibility, but this is the solution. And he's the first one to step up and be like, if you're the one that's taking the ring, like I'm going with you. I'm just like, I think that's just that's what Frodo needs. Like he's shitting his pants. He's like, he's got that radical acceptance where it's like, I know what I have to do, but man, I don't have the strength to do it. He does it, and you can just see his face like, I don't know where I'm going. He looks at Gandalf, almost like begging him to like, please come with me.
He's like left or right, and Gandalf's like this way.
Yeah,
he doesn't even know which way to turn.
Oh, that's right. Yeah. I think Gandalf's a great character. I also in my notes here. I have a lot of Aragorn notes.
Also, are we talking books, movies, or both?
Whatever.
Okay. Perfect.
Yeah, you can talk whatever. I did not know. I was doing this research on this for this pod. I did not know that Aragorn did all of his own stunts.
Yeah.
I had no idea.
Dude, and so many people got injuries. Like Orlando Bloom, Gimli's actor, so many, like they fell off horses, they broke ribs. Aragorn, when he's fighting Lurtz, the big Uruk-hai, when he throws the knife, he's supposed to throw it to the side. But he has so much makeup on, he misses, and it's going directly at Aragorn. So when he hits the knife out of the air with the sword, that wasn't supposed to happen.
Oh my gosh.
It was just supposed to be a clear miss, and Aragorn just deflected it. And the stunt people, if you watch the like behind the scene footage, are all like, Aragorn gave as good as he got. He was like, come at me, I want you to really hit at me. And they weren't used to actors saying that. Mm-hmm. And he did. And they broke so many swords, they broke shields, they broke bones. It's incredible.
Well, Sam's character, like when they filmed that scene where he's like, I'm going with you, like in the boats. I guess they did like a sweep to like clean out the lake just in case there's anything like weird in the lake, but they must have missed like the one piece of glass. And so Sam's running out there and he just stops like mid sprint. And Peter Jackson's like, hey, the scene's keep going, like the scene's not over. And he's like, I think I just punctured my foot. Yeah. Sure as shit, he comes out and he has like a piece of glass like this thick sticking out of the top end of his foot, like he punctured his foot. And yeah, I heard the stories of like him. I know that Aragorn almost drowned in like the river scene in the Two Towers when he's floating down the river. I heard rumors that he actually busted his foot when he kicked the helmet, but I couldn't find any confirmation of that online. Does that really happen?
I've never fact checked it. Enough people say it that I believe that one. I know you can Google who got injured, but you know the scene where they're running, chasing the Uruk-hai, and they're all like, it's the three, it's Aragorn, Legolas, Gimli, and they're running, and they do all those overhead shots.
Yeah.
In the second one.
Yep.
So kind of diverting from this movie. But they, I believe at least two of them had major injuries at that time from, I think, a horse incident that happened earlier. Mm-hmm. I don't remember it well enough to give you the direct facts, but if I remember right, there was a major injury on there as well. Which, like, props to everybody for how much they did. Just putting their bodies on the line for a movie is pretty epic, which we've talked about is like crazy ways that actors do this. Like Christian Bale, his
Yeah.
body changes for his role. Like to master and change your body for the roles you're playing is wild. To not just be like, hey, I'm gonna get buff, but Christian Bale got buff, he got fat, he became like a shriveled up version of himself all within like 2 years is insane.
There's no way that's healthy.
No, but it's epic.
I was watching it in the theater, and it just struck me like the elves and the orcs, where the elves are like so connected to nature. Like you look at like where their houses are built is kind of within nature. Like the Galadriel's is in a forest, but the forest is like part of her home. Same with Rivendell. And the orcs, like I don't know if this was like a discussion with like Tolkien or not, but I don't know if it was like an anti-capitalism discussion, but it did feel like there was some kind of comment on like industry and the cost that it takes on the environment. Because you're watching, like I first noticed this when
I believe Melkor's originally seduced by industry.
Because, like, that's what I was thinking. Because the first scene that I noticed that was Saruman, when he's building his army and tearing down his Isengard, taking down the trees. He's like, the trees will burn in the fires of industry. Starts making the metal, the helmets, and all these different things. When you go to the vision that Frodo has with Galadriel, what he sees is a green shire. And then it kind of transforms into a shire where everybody's working really hard. Everything that's green is gone. The air is polluted. There's a bunch of factories everywhere. And it just seemed like that the elves were very respectful of nature. And the good guys as a whole were very respectful of nature, while the bad guys weren't. Like the nature was an end game for them to get where they wanted to go, which was more power. I didn't do enough research to know if that's actually what Tolkien was trying to convey, like in his messaging. But I think in the year 2025, where they tried to sell off like our public lands to build, I mean, God knows what, a McDonald's in the middle of the fucking Uintas.
Yeah.
I mean, I don't know if that would, but that's what it came off to me as someone who watched the movie with a fresh perspective in 2025.
Yeah, makes total sense to me. Yeah.
Yeah, I don't know. And then like this movie, people talk about the moment they had like their like this is what cinema is supposed to feel like the magic of cinema. My first time was in the Fellowship of the Ring.
Yeah.
I was 11 years old, and like at first I had to like cover my eyes because I was shitting my pants. It was when the Witch King was gonna stab Frodo on Weathertop. I was like, I know it's coming. I've read the books. I can't watch this. But the scene where the music swells and it's like the dun dun da da da, and then they go from like it's like Gandalf leading the pack, Frodo, Merry, Sam, Pippin, with Aragorn, Gimli, Boromir, and Aragorn kind of bringing up the pack. They play the music. You see like the Fellowship of the Ring on top of a mountain. And I was just watching it again, like in the theater yesterday, and I was like, this, like, is there a more perfect cinematic moment than that moment? I couldn't think of one.
Yeah.
And I think the whole series is just full of like moments like that. Like, what's your favorite
so
scene
good.
from that movie?
Movie and book are different, but the movie is for sure. I think one of the most cinematic moments is when they're trying to cross over the top of the mountains, and Gandalf and Saruman are fighting through the wind.
Oh yeah.
Like that.
Oh, that's a good.
Just the whole concept of that is wild. But I mean, my favorite scene is when he fights the Balrog. It's my favorite scene in the movie.
Why?
I'll give you the medium answer. I like it because there's dialogue that gives background to both characters. So they're all like the Balrog shows up. Gandalf identifies it as a Balrog of Morgoth, and then he tells.
Which Morgoth was Sauron's boss way back when, right? Okay.
And then Gandalf tells them like your swords are of no use here, and for him to say that to like Legolas and Aragorn, who understand who he is as like in the Christian lens, he's an angelic being. He's one of the Astari. He's sent as like a guide to Middle Earth, and an uber powerful being. Like for him to say that to them, because if you remember in the second movie, Aragorn, Legolas, and Gimli attack Gandalf. Mm-hmm. And he
lasts like 2 seconds.
Yeah, like they're all done.
Disarmed.
Like in less than a second. Like he's not even aggressive. He just is defensive, and they're done. So the power difference is incredulous. But when he tells them that, he's telling them, like, hey, get out of here. And then they go. And then when he turns to the Balrog and identifies himself, like he says, I'm a wielder of the flame of Anor. You have no power here. He's identifying himself as one of the Astari. Because that Balrog, from what I understand, is left over from the war of the previous age with Melkor. And it's just dove into Moria. And it's lived there. And so it's been fighting dwarves, orcs, goblins, lesser beings for a long time. It hasn't had anything capable of killing it around it. And so when Gandalf identifies himself, the way I've understood it is the Balrog like stops and flames up and hesitates because he knows who he's fighting. And he's identified himself as a being on the same tier. And the Balrog's like, oh, I could die. Like, this is my match. This is my equal. This is who could kill me. And then they fight. And I love the identity. I love Gandalf. Gandalf has very few times that he shows who he is. And really shows his, for lack of a better word, power. Because he's not sent there to win battles. He's sent there to guide, to direct, to be like a voice in their ear, to help give them wisdom, and that's his purpose. And so for him to stand up and be like, no, like I'm Gandalf, I'm Aloran, I'm the Astari, like, let's go. And he says you
fucking go.
There's two versions, and I don't remember which one, but there's you cannot pass and you shall not pass. And I like you cannot pass because it's a restriction. It's not saying, like, I won't let you. It's saying you can't. Like, you don't have the power. It's like if you put me under a 300-pound bench, I can't do it. Like, I cannot bench that. And it's very restrictive and also shows that Gandalf has the authority to say it because he's powerful enough to enforce it. And then they fight for like 11 days or something like that. Yeah. And it's incredible. But my favorite scene is from the books, and it's before Weathertop. Weathertop, the mountain that they all hang out on, and where Frodo gets stabbed by the Witch King. Before they get to Weathertop, Gandalf is traveling in front of them, and before they get to Weathertop, the night before, they're all sitting there. It's either one night or two nights before they can see Weathertop, and they describe it as like a thunderstorm, volcanic fire, and it's Gandalf fighting the Nine by himself because he's also traveling to Rivendell because they got separated. And he's trying to find the Fellowship. And so he, if I'm recalling right, is staying up there to try to wait for them. And then he gets ambushed by the Nine, and he fights them. And that's how it's described. And the Nazgul are not using those things. They're fighting with swords, and like he's shooting fire and lightning and creating blasts large enough that people think it's a massive storm or a volcano. And we just don't see that ever from Gandalf in the books, in the movies. And in the portrayals of him, and I love those kind of things. So those are my favorite scenes.
Interesting.
Also, who's your favorite Lord of the Rings character?
As time goes on, it used to be Legolas, because as a little 11-year-old kid, like watching that motherfucker take down like a whole elephant by himself, I was like, yeah,
that's it.
I was like, that was awesome.
Yeah,
but I think as you get older, I think it's got to be Aragorn. Like, I love his character. I think he is and I'll talk about this later in my notes. I'll talk about it now. Fuck it. I think,
cheers.
I think he's where we're cheering for today.
The fuck it.
The fuck it. I think he's the epitome of masculinity. I think he is what real healthy masculinity looks like, to where, he's brave, obviously, strong. He's always on the side of the most vulnerable. Like, he is so protective of those hobbits all the time. He's always got those hobbits on his mind. The next step in kind of like his evolution as king almost comes by accident, where he just wants to protect the hobbits that are still able to be protected. Like, at this point when he lets Frodo and Sam go, where he's like, they're gone. Like, they've made their choice, but I still have in my power to go get the other hobbits. He's very attentive to like Éowyn in the second movie, of like a female that wants to fight. I think she portrays it as flirting, and he portrays it as just being very genuine and very kind and very like acknowledging of like what her desires are. He never uses never uses violence as a way of control. It's always to protect. Like one of the scenes that I didn't clock when I was watching it growing up, but I clocked in this rewatch, is the scene on the mountaintop where Frodo falls and Boromir picks up the ring, and Aragorn is like, "Hey, give it back," and he has to be like fairly forceful with it. It's like, "Hey, give it back to Frodo," and he gives it back, and Boromir gives him a shake on the head, walks away. But the last second of that scene is Aragorn's got a hold of his sword.
Yeah.
Like he's ready, even like within the fellowship of someone that he cares about. Like one thing about the extended versions I really like is it really expands on like Aragorn and Boromir's relationship. Like those two loved each other. Like yeah, they have some tense moments that were in the theatrical release, but in the extended versions, they really have some good moments together. But he's ready to fucking take him out in that moment of like I am always with the most vulnerable. But I also like him too because I think he has like obviously like he gives off the vibe of like, thank God this guy is here. Everyone that is around him is like, oh God, like he's here. We're gonna be okay. But he does not want that. He is like I really like to read. I like to be in the woods. I like to like hunt deer. I like to fish. I want to be just a ranger, just in the woods. Yeah. And the whole world is like, you gotta be our king. And he's like, I don't want it. Yeah. I don't want it. And I think that that's what makes him such a good king, for one, is that he never sought after that power. But also just so relatable as like you get older. Like first off, like as a guy, like just trying to emulate someone that's a good man that can embrace your masculinity in a healthy way. But also like, I mean, who hasn't felt like a purpose or a calling and just been like, I don't want that. I would much rather do this other thing. Like that just gets more relatable, I think, as you go on. So I was watching his character and like there's so many moments where like people are like, King of Gondor, or like you're son of Arathorn, you're Isildur's heir, like there could be the next king walking in Gondor, and he's just like,
he's like, why would I want that?
Yeah, like one scene it was
like, I want to go camping.
Yeah, he's like, I want to go back to the woods. I want to go wander the woods. It's
like I'll do Gandalf the occasional favor.
Yes,
I'll step up, like I'll find Gollum, whatever. But at the end of the day, I want to be just a little ranger from the north hanging out. I want to be Strider. I want to be in the pubs. I want to be in the wilderness.
Yep.
I want to be forgotten. But it's also like self-loathing and fear of like failure for living up to that mantle that people are trying to give him. It's not just I don't want it. It's I don't know that I can do what you guys are saying I can do. Yeah. Which is also fascinating.
Yeah, I don't think anybody is harder on himself than Aragorn and Boromir, like in those films. And he's so, oh God, I just love him so much. Like the scene, there's a moment. First off, I love this scene in general because it's a fight that reminds me of my hometown, like the forest I used to play in as a kid. It's the last fight of the movie next to the lake in Amon Hen. And Frodo and Aragorn have this really beautiful relationship where like you can see that Aragorn is tempted because he starts to hear the voice in his head. Sauron saying his name, and he closes Frodo's hand. He's like, man, I was ready to go with you to the very end, but if you ask me to leave you alone, then I will. And he's like, just look after Sam. And then like his sword starts to go blue. You see his orcs coming at him, and he goes across the statue. There's 100 orcs coming at him. He draws his sword, and he just starts to fight him. And I'm just like, that's the fucking King of Gondor right there. That's where I was like, look at this guy. It's 1 on 100, and he's winning. He's winning. So I think he's my favorite character. Long story short, I think he's my favorite character.
Yeah, good.
Yeah, I love him. I also like. I was watching to prepare for this podcast. To follow up on Aragorn though. I was to do research for this podcast. There's this channel that I love that we'll give a shout out to. It's called Cinema Therapy. Have you ever heard of these guys?
I think just from you.
Okay, so Cinema Therapy, it's a filmmaker and a therapist that live in Utah. And they watch films, they dissect it from a filmmaking perspective and then a therapeutic perspective. And they talk a lot about Aragorn and his masculinity and how he's comfortable enough with his masculinity to show a lot of physical affection to the people he cares about, including those that are men. So like that scene in the end where he's saying goodbye to Boromir and he gives him a hug and kisses his forehead and cries over him, like in this link that we'll link the video so people can watch it. Like it is it's Aragorn. It's almost his most masculine moment where he's acknowledging the masculinity of another guy. He's not afraid to show the affection, show his love to this person in this very intimate way, and it not be sexual at all. Like there's nothing in that scene that would give off the vibe like, oh, he was in love with Boromir. Mm-hmm. It's like, no, I just loved Boromir. He was my brother. And the point they make in this video is that, especially like in the world today, your homophobia actually limits your masculinity. Where if you're not showing at times physical affection in a non-sexual way to your male friends, then your masculinity is being limited. Because Aragorn did it. He did it in a way that's very honoring to his male friends, very beautiful, and very non-sexual. And I thought that was a great line from those guys. Again, credit goes to cinema therapy, where if you are homophobic, you are actually limiting your own masculinity.
Which is fascinating.
Yeah, I never thought of that, and it kind of gives me like my perfect segue of like the relationship between Sam and Frodo, like those two have a deep love for each other, and Sam specifically, there's again the podcast from the Cinema Therapy guys talked about integrity, to where Sam almost drowns getting on his boat toward the end of the film, and he repeats to Sam twice. Nate repeats to Frodo twice. I made a promise, Mr. Frodo, a promise. Like, integrity and loyalty means so much to Sam as a person. And they made the comparison that in the world today, integrity, especially like in a hyper-capitalistic world, will always be in short supply. Like that quote that he said back when Lord of the Rings was written, I don't know, in the 1930s, is more relevant now, almost 100 years later, than it was back then, because integrity will always be in short supply, and only more so as the world goes on. Yeah, so I loved that character too. I loved Aragorn, just his unwillingness to engage in violence unless it was protected and protective in nature, and there's so many like good, like he could battle with whoever he wants to, like at any time he wanted, because he's so skilled, but he just does it. And so I'm curious, like, what was your favorite like fight scene in Lord of the Rings? Like, what was your favorite battle?
I mean, it's for sure the ending scene where the Fellowship breaks up.
Why?
It's just epic. Aragorn marching onto a group of the 100 orcs by himself is, I mean, that's pretty sick.
Yeah.
And then, of course, Legolas and Boromir and Gimli step up, but he didn't know they were coming. He didn't have, like, a text that said, hey, on the hill on the way to you. He just saw a ton of orc and said, you know, I'm not going anywhere except for forward. And he just started fighting them.
God, what a beast.
Just,
That's
it was so epic.
Fight.
I mean, Boromir's death is one of, for me, the most memorable deaths in cinema. Like what he went through, the way he died, the sacrifice he made, why he did it, all like the redemptive arc that took place in the moment. It's all just incredible. And then, which I think also shows how a lot of us, I mean, we're capable of good and bad. Like Boromir, in less than 30 minutes of screen time, was trying to take the ring and destroy everything, and then gave his life to protect the hobbits. Like, he literally gave his life to protect the thing that he was that had taken him earlier, like 30 minutes ago. And I just think the fight is incredible. The fact that none of it was CGI, that they were really all dressing up as Uruk-hai, it's like the work they put into that movie was insane. Like right now it's more CGI armies, it's super digital, it's all that kind of stuff. But to be like, hey, we're going to have 200 of you dress up as Uruk-hai and you're going to run down this hill. What a great day at work that must have been.
Yeah.
Like, just, could you imagine being in the forest in New Zealand and dressing up and getting in a costume as a giant orc, being given a sword and being told, run down that hill, and just, that's your job?
Dude, I can't imagine.
It'd be so fun.
And, like, you can tell the difference. Like, that's what's, like, because, like, you compare the battle scenes from, let's even just, like, the Fellowship of the Ring to any battle in The Hobbit. Any battle in the Hobbit series. Like, I don't think the Hobbit series are as bad as people say they are, but you watch them after, which I like 2 years ago, I watched them right after I watched Lord of the Rings. It's just such a downgrade. And a lot of it is just because of the CGI, to where it just feels less,
and
like, I don't know, it's like,
even
it's
the
like not as much of a
CGI
risk.
now versus what it used to be. Like, if you watch Pirates of the Caribbean 2 and look at Davy Jones.
Oh, yeah, when he's playing the piano, bro, that's some good CGI.
Like, Transformers, when it came out, you're like, oh, that looks real. Transformers was the first movie I watched that I said, I can't tell what's real anymore.
Yeah.
Like, that looks real to me. And that, I remember walking out of the theater thinking that, as I just watched a robot fight in downtown, whatever city they're in, and it looks real.
Yeah.
And CGI now isn't as great. Like you watch Avengers, the first one, and when the Chitauri come in and they're fighting, and you're like, oh yeah, this is like it's epic and it looks cool, but it's
You can just tell.
it's not the same level as. And I have a buddy who does animation. He was telling me about how CGI has gotten progressively worse in
How is that
in
possible?
movies. I don't know. I don't know if it's like the same thing as making logos suck now. Like I don't know, but it's just I don't know if they're just skipping because they can, or if they're like they'll pay for it anyway. I have no idea because I'm not inside and no one talks to me about it because I'm a social worker. I don't get looped into how Hollywood makes its decisions. I just watch the movie.
This, like, I love that you brought up Boromir too, because like there will be no Boromir slander on this podcast.
I will slander him.
You will slander him? Okay, you didn't slander him though. You gave him a good shout out.
No, he's fantastic.
Well, it's like the extended versions too. They just give so much insight on like what they went through, like as a fellowship, to where, like him and Aragorn engage in conversations all the time about what it meant to like be a person of Gondor, and Boromir is never thinking about himself ever. He's always like, how do I keep my people safe? Like these people depend on me, almost like unnecessarily. He's all like in the second one specifically when they do the flashback with him and Faramir, his brother. Man, Faramir is a victim of abuse, of emotional and physical abuse at the hands of his father. And the person that's always stepping up for Faramir is Boromir. He's like, hey, leave him alone. He did a good job. He's a good captain. Leave him alone.
His dad literally told him to kill himself.
Yes.
Like, not like, hey, go hang yourself, but hey, get on a horse and ride that way and get killed. Like that's better to me than you being here.
Yep.
Like,
so like he's always looking at like in the films, like he trained Pippin and Merry how to use a sword.
Yeah.
Like that's a really cool scene where like and then he hits him on accident and kind of kick his ass a little bit. And there's a scene in the Mines of Moria where he, to get across like the bridge of Khazad-dûm that's falling down, he grabs on to Merry and Pippin and he's like, jump with me. Jumps. And he's just always taking care of him. And even after Gandalf dies, he's the one that has to like fight with Aragorn to be like, give him a second. Like they're in mourning. We all are. And Aragorn's like, we can't stay here. Like we are this close to having these hills overrun with orcs. Like I know they're sad. We got to get a move on. And in the forest of I'm forgetting the name of the forest, Galadriel's forest, Lothlorien. Mm-hmm. There's nobody that's harder on himself in that moment than him.
Yeah.
And so, he had a moment of weakness. Yeah, but that would have happened to all of the Fellowship if they would have stayed together. Yeah. Because Gandalf predicted it. He was like, you got to watch people from within. In Lothlorien, you could see people kind of looking at him with some doubts. All of them would have tried to take the ring at some point. Maybe not Sam, but everybody else part of that Fellowship would have.
That's the ring's whole bit, is that everybody wants it. And if it ensures that people want it, then it'll survive. Mm-hmm. Like that's the gig.
Yeah.
And so everyone, like that's why Gandalf wouldn't touch it. He's like, I'd take it from a desire to do good, but eventually it would wield a power that would destroy.
Yeah.
And like, I mean, Gandalf knew. He saw that. He didn't say, oh, I can hold it because I'm good. He said, I can't touch this because I have power, which was also a reason the hobbits were safe. Yeah. You give it to a hobbit, and you can kill a hobbit and take it from him. You give it to Galadriel, and you might never get that thing back.
Yeah.
And the other thing I love about the Fellowship is every single character is dynamic and flawed and good, and they all still get to be a part of the Fellowship.
Yeah.
Like Gandalf is wise, but also isn't there when they need him sometimes.
Yeah.
And doesn't have as much patience as you should, and all that kind of stuff. Boromir will grab him and jump across a massive gap and get him through Moria and teach them how to fight and die for them. But he will still try to steal from you when you're alone. And
Legolas and Gimli are both a little bit racist.
Oh, they're so racist. Like, they may be the first elf dwarfs to get over their racism in however many years in Middle-earth. They do that. And Gimli is selfish and monetary and full of hate, and Legolas is
very smug.
Yeah, he's kind of a prick. He's like, oh, I'm better than you.
I'm pretty boy. I'm an elf. I'm walking on the snow. You're trudging through the snow.
You're a gross dwarf.
Yep.
Get out of here. And every single character still gets to be there.
Yeah, I'd say even Aragorn, Aragorn. Even Aragorn, you think of him he is He's brave, he's strong, he's kind, but when it comes to like what kind of the world needs him to do, is take ownership of what he needs to do.
He shirks his
God,
responsibilities.
he forget I'm going to the woods, man.
He ditches people. He doesn't help when he's supposed to. He does so many things he's not supposed to.
Mm-hmm.
And then, like, the
Sure
hobbits mess up in how many different ways. They're not equipped for what they're doing. They're petty.
He sure does give Arwen like a roller coaster on her emotions too, where it's like I'm all in, I'm all out, I'm all in, I'm all out.
Yeah. So I think it's a cool way to say no matter what team you're on, like you can be there.
Yeah.
Like you have a role to play. You have a place you fit. You may not be Gandalf. You may not be Boromir. You may be Sam or Frodo. Like, but you're welcome on the team.
Yeah.
Because Gandalf didn't sit there and turn away people from the Fellowship. Elrond didn't turn anyone away. It's just everyone that stepped up went.
Yeah.
Which is, at least as far as I know, which is awesome.
I think of just like the Fellowship and just like its imperfections too, of like how, because like, I mean, throughout the Fellowship, like they prove their worth later, but through the Fellowship, Merry and Pippin really don't bring a lot except for like their culinary skills and almost like two emotional support people for Frodo.
Yeah.
And Boromir, like when the time came to show up for them, like he showed up knowing it would cost him his life. Like Merry and Pippin had no idea like what just went down with Boromir, like and Frodo. They just knew that the guy that's been taking care of them for the last 60 days or whatever, when they needed him most, was showing up once again. I'm just like, yeah, that's cool.
Yeah.
Good for Boromir, man.
And the Fellowship didn't last. It failed. No. It broke up. Like their goal of working together to get the ring into Mount Doom, like the ring got to Mount Doom, but it wasn't like this Fellowship escort that got it there. Yeah. It didn't even last a full movie. It wasn't even around the majority of a movie. So it just is what it is, which the ring, once again, is great at what it does.
I was having a conversation the other day with someone that we both know. I won't say their name on the podcast, but they were talking about like radical acceptance. And Frodo, like when the hand is dealt to Frodo and he kind of realizes like what kind of hand he's been dealt. Because Frodo, at best, he's a party boy who likes to read in the woods, kind of ride his uncle's coattails, hang out with his buddies at the pub, like a normal person. And he inherits this ring, and he's just hanging out with it. And Gandalf explains to him what the fuck he's holding.
Well, he doesn't even explain it first. He gives it to him and says, "Hey, I got to go do some research." And then he comes back like 17 years later.
Yeah, which I'm glad they skipped that, like in the
and
the
he's
movies.
Like, "Hey, so I figured this out."
Yeah,
and he's like, "All right."
But he flips. He's like, "Take it! I don't want it. I'm giving it to you." And he takes it. And he takes it. And he's freaking out. And he's having his panic attack. And then from that moment, now he has his low moments, as we all do. But he was like, like, what must I do? Like, what must I do? That's why I think the line that Gandalf tells to him later in the movie is like when he's just kind of a little pity party for himself, and rightly so, where he's, I wish the ring had never come to me. Like, I didn't ask for this. I don't want this. And Gandalf is like, so do all who live to see such times, but we can't decide that. Like, what we can decide is what to do with the time that's given to us.
Yeah.
And so I was talking with someone that we both know about that, and that person was really like emotional, like hearing that, to where like this person does a lot of good despite a lot of bad thing that's happened. And this person saw themselves in Frodo, where it's like, that is such a crappy hand. But despite that crappy hand that you've been dealt, and probably some really bad odds against you of actually finishing this quest, you can still have a very positive impact in that world. And I was like, with that insight, I was like, God damn. Like, I never put that together. Just the radical acceptance that Frodo shows, despite him kind of shitting his pants the whole way.
Yeah.
I just thought it was just...
Yeah. Frodo's the best.
And you see, like, just on his... Like, that poor guy, like, getting stabbed twice by the Witch King and then the troll. And then you can just see... Because he starts out the movie smoking weed and reading a book in the woods. And he ends the movie with just this look of just pure, like, shock on his face, holding the ring like this, like looking at the river, just being like, I cannot believe this is what's happened.
Yeah.
And he still goes on. I'm just like, I love Frodo Baggins.
Frodo's the GOAT.
And go ahead.
There's a There's a name. I forgot the name of the app, but there's an app where you can walk
Oh yeah,
the
yeah.
same
I forgot the name too.
same route Frodo did, and you compete against Mr. Underhill, and it's fun. I've done it twice, and we'll find out what it is and put it in the show notes. But it's a fun app, and you get to walk the entire distance, and it tracks your move data on your phone or your watch or whatever. So it's a fun app.
Okay, yeah, we'll put it in the show notes. Couple other things. I did not know that it was Aragorn's son, Viggo Mortensen's son, that caused him to take the role. He was
I didn't know that either.
No, I didn't know that either because Aragorn had not read the books, and they actually signed someone else for Aragorn that actually bailed, and they offered it to Viggo Mortensen. And Viggo, if you follow his career at all, he's very particular about the roles that he takes. And he's taking this role, and he's like, I don't know who this guy is. But his son had read Lord of the Rings, and he was like, Dad, you have to take this role. You have to. And so I think part of his contract was like, I'll take the role, but my son has to come with me in New Zealand for the next 2 years. To do this. And they were like, oh, okay, yeah, if you'll take the role, like, great. I can't imagine anybody doing that role except for him. But the guy they signed, I think, was like 20 years younger than Viggo. And they, like, when they were doing, like, the practice test, they were like, this Aragorn is too young. Like, no one's going to take this guy serious. So I didn't know that he had not taken the role, but...
That's awesome. I love Viggo.
I do, too.
Is he returning in the Hunt for Gollum movie?
I think so.
Okay.
Which, I don't know how I feel. How do you feel about that, the Hunt for Gollum movie?
Just kind of an air of skepticism, because I feel like most things that I've wanted to be good haven't been. And I'd rather go in with low expectations and have them exceeded than show up stoked for it and then
Be disappointed.
get a bag of crap.
You know what I wish they would have done instead was... Because you watch Lord of the Rings, and I've read the books once. But it was in high school, so it's been a while. And
I've only read them twice, so I haven't read them.
Still more than me.
Yeah, second time was on Audible.
But like, you wonder if like in the Battle of the Ring, the War of the Ring, you see the version of like Rohan, Gondor, Rivendell, like their participation. But there's so many other kingdoms like the Mirkwood Elves, Lake Town, the Lonely Mountain. You're like, well, where are these guys? If they're gonna make another movie, I wish they would do those movies like a Lord of the Rings movie, but the perspectives of the characters that we saw in The Hobbits, but during the War of the Ring. So we got just a little bit more to know, like, well, what are these guys doing? Are these guys aware of what's going on in Rohan? Are they aware of what's going on in Gondor? Because I know, because you told me that they were dealing with their own shit. Like the Sauron didn't just send his minions to Rohan and Gondor. Yeah, he sent it to all Middle Earth.
Yeah,
and so everybody's doing their own stuff.
On their own fronts. They were all at war. Everybody.
So like, instead of the Hunt for Gollum, why not do that instead?
I would like to see Galadriel on the battlefield, just fighting outside of Lothlorien and killing it.
I would too.
I would love to see that on film.
I think that they may have fucked that up. I don't hope they don't mess it up. Especially if they bring back like the OG actors, because these are like, you think back, can you think of like a more perfect trilogy, a more perfect cinematic experience in Lord of the Rings? I can't. Like even like
no,
you think like the universes that are in like the cinematic sphere. I can find flaws in the Harry Potter universe. I can find flaws in the Marvel universe, DC universe, just even like in all these different mediums. But the Lord of the Rings, like that's a perfect as a cinematic trilogy as you will ever get.
Yeah,
and I just don't want to see him fuck with it.
And I just look at it as completely separate. I'm like, if this is good, it's good. But there is also a YouTube fan film called The Hunt for Gollum.
Is it any good?
It's clearly made by fans that didn't have the same budget, but it's a fun watch. So I watched it probably last time in like 2012. So it's been a minute.
Huh.
But I remember watching it and having a good time. But I like fan films.
It's crazy, like even after 25 years, how scary the ring wraiths still are.
Yeah.
Like I'm just like, these motherfuckers are intimidating as shit.
At one point in some Halloween before I die, I want to dress up as a ring wraith, have a little speaker on my hip that plays the music, and I want to ride a black horse around.
Oh, that's cool.
And I don't know if I'll ever get to, but I think about that every Halloween.
Dude, you totally should. That would be awesome. There's so many moments in that movie. Like I rewatching the theater the other day of just like how it just so like just even like the details that I miss where like Aragorn and his masculinity, like he embraces love for poetry, for music. his reaction, like when Frodo says, "I will take the ring to Mordor," everyone's like, "Come again?"
Yeah.
And like you just see like he just does something with his eyes where like his eyes are less tense and he raises his chin, and it just gives out the vibe of just like admiration. Where it's like this little hobbit, like just like I was so pissed at him for putting on that ring in that pub, and now like he's my little hero. Like I will go with him until the end of time. But like in the end, when I watched Fellowship of the Ring, it reminds me of this is the first moment I had like this is what cinema feels like, and it always makes me want to go hiking.
Yeah.
Always, because it's so goddamn beautiful to where, especially when they leave Rivendell and like on the mountain playing swords, this beautiful mountain. They walk up the mountains like on the snow and like the views of the snow, wandering through Lothlorien, the fight in the forest. I'm just like, it just always makes me want to go hiking because it's just such a beautiful, beautiful film. And it gets even better. Like in the Two Towers, like every scene in Rohan where like those lakes, those plains, and those snow-capped mountains are just so beautiful.
Yeah, 100%.
But man, I love Lord of the Rings, but that's all I've got when I watch The Fellowship. You got anything else?
Not really. Just
cool
that I love it and I'd watch it every day of my life if I could.
Dude, I tell you, when I got out of the theater, I was so like yesterday. I'm on sabbatical, by the way, so I'm not working. I'm just chilling. I'm just doing some like personal stuff. And when I left the theater yesterday, I was so bummed. Like I was legit sad. But I was like, I just spent 3.5. Was that like 12 hours in Middle Earth? And the fact that I was leaving Middle Earth, I was just like, this sucks. It's like so depressed.
And I will say, I love how much Lord of the Rings brings people together in a lot of ways. Like this shirt, for example, it has the white flag of Gondor on it, or the white tree of Gondor. Sorry, and it is on flags, but this is the shirt that gets me the most social interaction out of anything I own. That's cool. I wear this in public, like at the gym, hiking, at the zoo, at a restaurant, I have people come up to me and just start chatting.
That's awesome.
And that's just like, I met a couple once that live out in Maryland, and they met on an online Lord of the Rings forum. Started chatting, and then got to know each other, and then got married. And their house had Lord of the Rings sword replicas. They had like the Witch King's helmet. They had so many just Lord of the Rings items in their home. And I love the way cinema and stories and things like this can bring us closer, because it's great for me and for other people. So yeah,
I think just too, like, just it's a weird time in the world too, to where I do think nature is under assault. Like I do think that like nature is looking to get sacrificed on behalf of like industry, which scares me. I think that really frightens me. I think that there is.
As a Wyoming guy, you love nature.
Oh God, yeah.
You
like
have the Wind Rivers, you have the Tetons, you have Yellowstone. Like you have so many
things
out there.
Yeah, like where I grew up, like nature is like your neighbor. It's just part of your community, you know.
Yeah.
Saying like it's so seeing it like.
We've still never been to Wyoming together, by the way.
We need to go to the Snowies. That's the most underrated hiking out of Wyoming. The Snowies. We gotta go to a football game. I'm on sabbatical, bro. Freaking, let's go whenever.
Yeah.
So I think I missed my sabbatical too. But like nature is just part of it's almost like your neighbor. And in the Lord of the Rings, it's a central character in the story to where oftentimes it's sacrificed. Like the Two Towers, I think the ultimately like one of the messages of Two Towers is like what happens when nature fights back. Like the Ents, they had it. They were like, this, what are you doing? Like this is evil. This is gross. We're gonna wash this away using nature. I do think like nowadays like nature is under attack, which makes me really scared as someone that loves nature. As you know, I know you love nature too. I do think there are like forces at hand that look to do vulnerable people harm, both public and private, which is like someone that like, and you, I know we just finished up a podcast. I'm thinking of like you and I specifically is like someone that fights for human rights on a daily basis. Like at times it's really easy to feel hopeless. And honestly, in Lord of the Rings, like those, like they have hope, but there's at least a couple of times where they were like, we've sent Frodo to his death. Like there's really not much hope. You guys are going to die in the way. Like Aragorn breaks up with his girlfriend because he's pretty sure that he ain't coming back. And just the Lord of the Rings, I remember when I was watching as a kid, and even more now as an adult, Like the threat of Sauron, where even like the crows are on his side, feels so intimidating. And sometimes the best thing that you can do is just put one foot in front of the other and hope that you survive the next day until you get to your final destination. And I think that message is just more relevant now than ever.
Mhm.
And you get through it by being brave, having integrity, holding on to those bonds of fellowship, and when the time comes, like freaking get yourself to a pub and enjoy a good thing of baked potatoes.
100%. Man, I love it.
Me too.
I need baked potatoes today.
Yeah, I do too. Did you see the thing I posted the other day where it's like Lord of the Rings shows us that like bravery and fellowship get you a lot, but ultimately if you want to eat potatoes badly enough, it becomes a superpower.
I love it.
I love it too. Cool, man. Well, this was Lord of the Rings, Fellowship of the Ring. You'll come back for Two Towers, Return of the King.
And I will say, if I said anything incorrect, fact check me and let me know, because I like Lord of the Rings is great, and there's so much to know, and there's so much to mix up, and I love it. So I want to know if I'm wrong on something. If I said something wrong, let me know. Cool.
Before we go, excuse Sam. Sam's out fundraising for his new movie, Miseria. If you go online, you can find the link to donate to make that small film happen. It's going to be awesome. So please go check it out. And please make a donation to the International Protection Alliance. We'll add the notes in the show notes again. Jake was nice enough to come on twice. Hopefully we're going to have him on at least 2 more times with Lord of the Rings. And then if you'll come back, Punisher. Gotta have Punisher. And some seasons of SEAL Team, because we both love that show. But anytime Jake comes on, we'll give a shout out to his website, shout out to his nonprofit, send people there. And if you want to fight evil, like true evil, make a donation to the International Protection Alliance, because they're doing some good work in fighting evil.
And I will also say, or Libertas International, because they do basically the same thing. So
either one.
You're safe.
Cool.
Cheers.
All right.